Have you ever caught your reflection in a store window or looked at a recent photograph and thought, when did I start looking so tired? Maybe you've noticed new lines around your eyes that weren't there last year, or perhaps your skin has lost some of that youthful glow you used to take for granted. If this sounds familiar, I want you to know first and foremost, you're not imagining things, and you're certainly not alone in this experience. Aging is completely natural, but what many of us don't realize is how much our daily habits might be accelerating the process in ways we never intended. Let me share a quick story about my neighbor Margaret. At 68, Margaret was vibrant and active, but she kept complaining that people kept offering her senior discounts without being asked. One day, as we were having tea in her garden, she made an offhand comment that stuck with me. "I don't mind being 68, but I hate looking like I've given up on myself." That conversation inspired me to research all the little things we do every day that might be adding years to our appearance without us even realizing it. And that's exactly what we're going to explore together today. Those sneaky habits that might be making us look older than we feel, and more importantly, exactly how we can turn things around starting right now. Before we dive into these habits, I want to make one thing very clear. This isn't about chasing some impossible standard of youth or trying to look 20 again. This is about looking as vibrant and healthy as you feel inside. It's about putting your best face forward in a way that makes you feel confident when you catch your reflection. Because here's the beautiful truth. While we can't stop time, we absolutely can influence how it shows on our faces and bodies through simple, daily choices. Now, let's talk about that first habit that might be aging you more than you realize: skipping sunscreen. I know, you've heard this one before. But stick with me, because there's more to this story than you might think. Sun damage is what we call a silent ager. It accumulates gradually over decades, often without us noticing until significant damage has already been done. Dr. Angela Johnson, a dermatologist who specializes in aging skin, explains that up to 90% of visible skin aging comes from sun exposure, not just from the passage of time. That includes not just wrinkles, but also uneven skin tone, broken capillaries, and that leathery texture many of us assume is just part of getting older. Here's what most people don't realize. The sun damage you're getting today isn't just about tomorrow's risk. It's about the damage that started accumulating when you were a child playing outside, or during those summers you spent at the beach in your 20s and 30s. The effects are cumulative, which means every day you protect your skin now is helping to prevent further damage from stacking up. The good news: it's never too late to start seeing benefits. Studies show that people who begin using sunscreen regularly in their 50s and 60s still see noticeable improvements in their skin's appearance within just a few months. So what's the best way to make sunscreen a habit? First, find a formula you actually enjoy using. Many people skip sunscreen because they hate that heavy, greasy feeling of traditional formulas. Today there are wonderful options: lightweight moisturizers with SPF, mineral powders with sun protection, even setting sprays that contain sunscreen. Apply it every morning as part of your routine, just like brushing your teeth. Keep a tube by your bedside or next to your toothbrush as a visual reminder. And remember, clouds don't block aging rays. Up to 80% of UV rays penetrate cloud cover, so make this an everyday habit, not just a sunny day precaution. Now let's move to our second aging habit: chronic dehydration. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at signaling thirst, which means we might not realize we're running low on fluids until we're significantly dehydrated. But here's what's fascinating. While we might notice the dry mouth or fatigue that comes with dehydration, we often miss the more subtle signs showing up on our faces. Well-hydrated skin appears plumper and more resilient, which naturally minimizes the appearance of fine lines. When we're dehydrated, our skin loses elasticity, making wrinkles appear more pronounced and giving our complexion that tired, dull look. But hydration isn't just about drinking 8 glasses of water a day, though that's certainly important. It's also about what we're eating and how we're protecting the moisture barrier of our skin. Foods rich in water content, like cucumbers, watermelon, and leafy greens, contribute to our hydration from the inside out. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in foods like salmon and walnuts, help maintain our skin's natural moisture barrier. And believe it or not, the air in our homes plays a role too. Running a humidifier, especially while sleeping, can make a noticeable difference in how hydrated our skin looks and feels. Here's a simple hydration check you can do right now. Gently pinch the skin on the back of your hand and see how quickly it springs back. If it takes more than a second or two, your skin is likely dehydrated. The fix? Start your morning with a glass of water before coffee or tea. Keep a filled water bottle visible throughout the day, Research shows we're more likely to drink water when we can see it. If you struggle with plain water, try herbal teas or add slices of fruit for natural flavor. And don't forget that many fruits and vegetables are over 90% water. A crisp apple or juicy pear can contribute significantly to your daily hydration needs. Now, let's talk about a habit that might surprise you: poor posture. Most of us don't connect how we hold our bodies with how old we appear, but the connection is stronger than you might think. Years of slouching, hunching over phones or books, or even just relaxing into chairs can lead to what doctors call postural aging. This includes rounded shoulders, a forward head position, and that stooped silhouette we often associate with much older individuals. The scary part? Research shows poor posture can make someone appear up to 10 years older than they actually are. But here's the good news: unlike some signs of aging, posture is completely within our control at any age. The first step is awareness. Try this quick test. Stand sideways in front of a mirror. Ideally, your ear should align over your shoulder, which aligns over your hip, which aligns over your ankle. If your head juts forward or your shoulders round, that's postural aging at work. The fix doesn't require hours at the gym. Simple daily exercises can make a dramatic difference. Shoulder rolls, gentle chin tucks, and wall angels, standing with your back against a wall while moving your arms up and down, can all help retrain your posture. One of my favorite posture exercises is what I call the book balance. Simply place a book on your head while standing, start with something light like a paperback, and try to walk without letting it fall. This naturally encourages proper spinal alignment and engages those postural muscles we often neglect. Try it for just a few minutes each day while watching TV or waiting for the kettle to boil. Over time, you'll notice standing tall becomes more natural, and that confident posture will take years off your appearance instantly. The fourth habit we need to discuss is one that surprises nearly everyone I mention it to: how you sleep at night. And I'm not just talking about getting enough hours, though that's certainly important too. The actual position you sleep in could be etching lines into your face that become harder to erase with each passing year. Think about it. If you spend 7 to 8 hours every night with your face pressed into a pillow, that's nearly a third of your life creating the same compression lines over and over again. Dermatologists have a name for these. They call them sleep wrinkles, and they're different from expression lines because they're caused by mechanical compression rather than muscle movement. Here's something fascinating I learned from Dr. Elizabeth Brooks, a cosmetic dermatologist who specializes in aging skin. Sleep wrinkles tend to form in different patterns than expression lines. While smile lines radiate outward from the mouth and crow's feet form at the outer eyes, sleep wrinkles often appear as vertical creases on the cheeks and forehead or horizontal lines across the décolletage. What makes these particularly stubborn is that unlike dynamic wrinkles, those caused by facial expressions, sleep wrinkles are essentially being set into your skin night after night through prolonged pressure. Now, I can practically hear some of you thinking, but I've slept on my side since I was a child. How could I possibly change now? Believe me, I understand. My own mother was a dedicated stomach sleeper for nearly 70 years until she noticed deep creases forming on her cheeks that didn't go away during the day. Here's what worked for her, and what might work for you too if you're trying to transition to back sleeping. First, try propping yourself up slightly with an extra pillow under your head and one beneath your knees. This zero-gravity position helps keep you comfortably on your back without that unsettling feeling of being flat. You might also consider a contoured memory foam pillow that cradles your head while keeping your face free from pressure. If switching positions feels impossible, and for some people with certain health conditions, it genuinely might be, there are still ways to minimize the damage. Silk or satin pillowcases create less friction than cotton, meaning your skin isn't being tugged and creased as much throughout the night. There are even special wrinkle prevention pillows with cutouts designed to keep your face from being compressed. And here's a little nighttime skincare tip. Applying a slightly heavier moisturizer or a hydrating sleeping mask before bed can help your skin stay more pliable and resilient against those compression forces. While we're on the subject of sleep, let's not overlook the importance of sleep quality itself. Deep, restorative sleep is when your body produces human growth hormone, which helps repair skin cells and regenerate collagen. Poor sleep doesn't just leave you feeling groggy. It shows up in your face as puffiness, dark circles, and a dull, lackluster complexion. One of my clients, a lovely 72-year-old named Barbara, made one simple change that transformed her appearance more than any cream ever could. She started turning off all screens an hour before bedtime and reading under soft lamplight instead. Within 2 weeks, her daughter asked if she'd gotten some sort of facial because her skin looked so much more refreshed. This brings us perfectly to our fifth aging habit, one that affects nearly every system in your body, including your skin, consuming too much sugar and processed foods. Now, before you think this is going to be another lecture about giving up all your favorite treats, let me assure you, this isn't about deprivation. It's about understanding how certain foods affect your appearance and making informed choices. The science behind sugar's aging effects is actually quite fascinating. A process called glycation occurs when excess sugar molecules in your bloodstream attach to proteins like collagen and elastin, forming harmful new molecules called advanced glycation end products, appropriately abbreviated as AGEs. These AGEs are like little rust particles in your skin support structure. They make collagen stiff and brittle rather than supple and springy, leading to sagging, wrinkles, and loss of facial volume. What's particularly concerning is that glycation is a cumulative process. The more sugar you consume over time, the more these AGEs build up in your tissues. But here's the hopeful part. Reducing sugar intake can actually help reverse some of this damage. A study published in the Journal of Dermatological Science found that participants who lowered their sugar intake showed measurable improvements in skin elasticity in just 12 weeks. Now, let's talk practical strategies, because I know eat less sugar is easier said than done, especially when it's hidden in so many foods we don't even think of as sweet. Start by becoming a label detective. Words ending in O's, like sucrose, fructose, dextrose, are all forms of sugar. Even healthy foods like yogurt, granola, and whole wheat bread can contain shocking amounts. My rule of thumb: if a product has more than 4 grams of added sugar per serving, consider whether there's a better alternative. When you do indulge in something sweet, try pairing it with fiber, protein, or healthy fats to slow the sugar spike. A square of dark chocolate with some almonds, for example. Some of the most powerful anti-glycation foods happen to be delicious ones. Cinnamon, turmeric, ginger, garlic, and leafy greens all help inhibit the formation of AGEs. Berries, despite their natural sweetness, are packed with antioxidants that help protect collagen. And don't underestimate the power of hydration. Drinking enough water helps flush out excess sugar before it can do damage. One of my favorite after-meal rituals is sipping on cinnamon tea. It satisfies the sweet craving while actually helping regulate blood sugar. Our 6th aging habit is one of the most commonly overlooked areas of skincare: neglecting our necks and hands. It's so easy to focus all our attention on our faces while forgetting that these other areas often reveal our age just as clearly. The skin on our necks and hands is actually thinner than on our faces, with fewer oil glands to keep it naturally moisturized. This makes it particularly vulnerable to showing signs of aging from sun exposure, dehydration, and repetitive motions. Let me share a story about my friend Eleanor, a vibrant 65-year-old who took impeccable care of her facial skin but was dismayed to notice her hands were starting to look significantly older. "I feel like my hands belong to someone else," she told me. The solution wasn't expensive treatments. It was simply extending the same care she gave her face to her hands and neck. She started applying sunscreen to the backs of her hands every morning, a habit she maintains even in winter, using the same antioxidant serum on her neck as her face, and keeping rich hand creams in every room of her house. The results after 6 months were remarkable. The age spots on her hands had faded significantly, and the skin looked plumper and more resilient. For necks, one of the most effective techniques is simply how you apply products. Instead of pulling downward, which can actually contribute to sagging over time, use upward strokes from collarbone to jawline. At night, try this little trick. After applying your nighttime moisturizer, gently glide your hands upward along your neck while tilting your head back slightly. This helps encourage lymphatic drainage while delivering product where it's needed most. Another often overlooked aspect of neck care is posture. Constantly looking down at phones or books creates those horizontal tech necklines that can become permanent over time. Try holding devices at eye level more often, and incorporate gentle neck stretches into your daily routine. One simple exercise: slowly tilt your head back until you're looking at the ceiling, then press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You'll feel the muscles in your neck engage. This helps strengthen the platysma muscle that supports your neck's appearance. For hands, exfoliation is key. Just like our faces, dead skin cells can build up and make hands look dull. Try a gentle sugar scrub once a week, followed by a thick moisturizer sealed in with a pair of cotton gloves overnight. And here's a pro tip: when applying hand cream, don't forget your cuticles and the sides of your fingers. These areas show wear quickly. If age spots are a concern, look for creams containing vitamin C or niacinamide, which can help fade discoloration over time. Let's continue our journey through these aging habits by exploring some that might surprise you. Because they're not about what you put on your skin or even what you eat, but about how you move through each day emotionally and socially. These next habits are like invisible threads that weave through your life, subtly influencing how young or old you appear to the world. The seventh habit that could be aging you is chronic stress, that constant background tension so many of us have learned to live with. Now, I'm not talking about the normal stresses of daily life, but that unrelenting, grinding stress that never seems to lift. Here's what's fascinating. Stress doesn't just feel bad, it actually leaves visible marks on your face that can add years to your appearance. When you're under stress, your body produces cortisol, often called the stress hormone. In small doses, cortisol is harmless, but when levels remain high over long periods, it starts breaking down collagen, the very protein that keeps your skin plump and youthful. But the aging effects of stress go even deeper than collagen loss. Have you ever noticed how people going through prolonged difficult periods seem to develop a sort of stress face? Their features may appear drawn, with deeper lines between the eyebrows and around the mouth. The jawline might seem tighter, the eyes less bright. This isn't just imagination. It's the result of repeated muscle tension and reduced blood flow to the skin. Stress also dehydrates your skin from the inside out and can exacerbate conditions like eczema or psoriasis that make skin appear older. Now, here's the good news. Managing stress is one of the most powerful anti-aging treatments available, and it doesn't cost a dime. One of the most effective techniques is something you can start right now: diaphragmatic breathing. This isn't just regular deep breathing, but a specific method where you breathe deeply into your belly, allowing your diaphragm to fully expand. Try this. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. As you inhale through your nose for a count of 4, your belly should rise while your chest stays relatively still. Hold for a count of 4, then exhale slowly through pursed lips for a count of 6. Doing just 5 minutes of this daily can dramatically lower cortisol levels. Another powerful stress reducer is what I call micro-moments of joy. These are small, intentional pauses throughout your day where you deliberately notice something pleasant: the warmth of sunlight through a window, the scent of your morning coffee, the sound of birdsong. These moments act like mini-meditations, interrupting the stress response before it can take hold. One of my clients, a retired teacher named Miriam, started keeping what she called a beauty journal where she noted 3 beautiful things she noticed each day. After 6 months, her daughter commented that she looked lighter somehow, like she'd gotten younger. Our 8th aging habit is one you might not expect: repetitive facial expressions. Just like sleep wrinkles form from repeated pressure, expression lines develop from making the same facial movements over and over. Think about how often you frown in concentration, squint at screens, or purse your lips in thought. All these micro-movements etch themselves into your face over time. The most common are the 11s between the eyebrows, from frowning, crow's feet, from squinting, and marionette lines around the mouth, from pursing lips. Now, I'm certainly not suggesting you stop expressing emotions. That would be both impossible and undesirable. The goal is awareness, not restriction. Start noticing your facial habits throughout the day. Do you clench your jaw when stressed? Furrow your brow while reading? These unconscious expressions can become so ingrained we don't even realize we're doing them. One helpful technique is to set gentle reminders, maybe a small sticky note on your computer monitor that says "relax your face," or associating certain activities, like answering the phone, with a quick face check. For particularly stubborn expression lines, facial yoga can work wonders. These are simple exercises that strengthen facial muscles and improve circulation. One of my favorites for forehead lines: place both hands on your forehead with fingers spread, gently pressing the skin downward. Now try to raise your eyebrows against this resistance, holding for 5 seconds. Release and repeat 5 times. Forelip lines: try this, say "oh" while keeping your lips relaxed, then smile without letting your lips part. You'll feel the muscles around your mouth engage. This helps strengthen the area that tends to droop with age. The 9th habit is perhaps the most surprising of all: social isolation. Numerous studies have shown that people with strong social connections tend to look younger than their chronological age, while those who are chronically lonely often appear older. Why would this be? Partly it's because social interaction exercises our facial muscles in subtle ways. Smiling, laughing, the animated expressions of conversation all help maintain facial tone and circulation. But there's also a biochemical component. Positive social interaction boosts oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which helps regulate stress and inflammation in the body. Think about how your face feels after a good conversation with a dear friend versus after hours alone. There's a literal brightness that comes from human connection. This doesn't mean you need to become a social butterfly if that's not your nature. Even small, meaningful interactions can make a difference. Consider joining a book club, taking a class, or simply making it a point to have more face-to-face conversations rather than texting. One retired gentleman I know, Henry, made a habit of going to the same coffee shop every morning just to chat with the staff and regulars. After a year of this routine, his daughter remarked that he looked 5 years younger, and he certainly felt it. If in-person socializing is difficult, technology offers wonderful alternatives. Video calls with family, online interest groups, or even interacting with social media, when done positively, can provide connection. The key is engagement. Passive scrolling doesn't provide the same benefits as actual interaction. And don't underestimate the value of intergenerational connections. Spending time with younger people has been shown to boost cognitive function and even physical vitality. Now, let's tie these 3 habits together, because they're more connected than they might appear. Chronic stress often leads to those repetitive facial expressions, the worried frown, the tense jaw. Social isolation frequently increases stress levels. It's a cycle, but the beautiful thing is that positive changes in one area can create ripple effects in the others. Start managing stress, and you might naturally make more relaxed facial expressions. Increase social connection, and your stress levels may decrease. One powerful practice that addresses all 3 is laughter. Real, genuine laughter exercises facial muscles, reduces stress hormones, and almost always happens in social contexts. Even watching a funny show is more beneficial when shared. Consider starting a laughter file, a collection of funny videos, memes, or memories that never fail to make you chuckle. One of my clients keeps a notebook of hilarious things her grandchildren have said, and she flips through it whenever she needs a mood boost. As we move toward our final segment, I want you to consider how these emotional and social habits have shown up in your life. Maybe you've noticed yourself holding tension in your jaw when stressed. Perhaps you've let some social connections lapse over the years. The wonderful news is that none of these patterns are permanent. Each new day offers opportunities to make different choices. In our last session, we'll bring everything together with some final transformative habits and talk about how to maintain these positive changes long term. We'll explore the surprising impact of your walking style on how old you appear, how certain colors can take years off your look, and why lifelong learning might be the ultimate anti-aging secret. Remember, aging is a natural process, but how we age is profoundly influenced by our daily choices, and those are always in our power to change. As we come to the final part of our journey together, I want to take a moment to reflect on how far we've come. We've uncovered habits hiding in plain sight, from how we sleep to how we handle stress, each leaving their mark on our appearance in ways we might never have considered. Now, let's explore these last transformative habits that complete the picture of graceful, vibrant aging. These final insights might surprise you most of all, because they're about movement, color, and mindset, elements we rarely connect to how young or old we appear, yet they make all the difference. The 10th habit that could be aging you is something you do thousands of times every day without thinking: walking. Not just whether you walk enough, but how you walk. Your gait, that unique pattern of movement as you take each step, broadcasts your age more loudly than almost anything else. Think about how you can often guess someone's age from behind before ever seeing their face. A youthful walk has 3 key components: stride length, posture, and fluidity. As we age, many of us develop shorter, shuffling steps, often without realizing it. This happens partly from loss of flexibility in our ankles and hips, partly from decreased confidence in our balance. The result? A walk that makes us appear older and frailer than we actually are. Here's the exciting part: you can reclaim a more youthful gait at any age. Start by practicing heel-to-toe walking. Consciously place your heel down first with each step, then roll through to your toe. This immediately lengthens your stride. Next, focus on posture. Imagine a string pulling gently upward from the crown of your head as you walk. Finally, add some swing to your arms. Not exaggerated, but natural opposition. Right arm forward with left leg and vice versa. This coordinated movement creates fluidity. One of my clients, a 68-year-old former teacher named Robert, practiced these techniques during his daily walks. After 3 months, his neighbor asked if he'd gotten some sort of operation because he moved like a much younger man. Now let's talk about an aging habit you can change in an instant: wearing colors that drain your vitality. As we age, our skin tone, hair color, and eye brightness naturally change, which means the colors that once flattered us might now be working against us. Many people instinctively start wearing more black, gray, and beige as they get older, thinking these are safer choices. Ironically, these muted tones can actually emphasize shadows, wrinkles, and uneven skin tone. The right colors near your face act like natural highlighters, reflecting light in flattering ways that minimize shadows and brighten your complexion. Finding your most youth-enhancing colors doesn't require complicated systems or expensive consultations. Start with this simple test. In natural daylight, hold different colored fabrics near your face and notice the effect. Does your skin look more even? Do your eyes appear brighter? Do people comment that you look well rested when you wear a particular shade? Those are your power colors. Generally, most people benefit from slightly warmer, clearer versions of colors they wore in youth. A navy instead of black, a warm rose instead of cool pink, an ivory instead of stark white. One of my clients, Margaret, replaced the black sweaters in her wardrobe with rich eggplant and teal tones. The change was so dramatic her hairstylist assumed she'd gotten cosmetic treatments. Our 12th and final habit is perhaps the most powerful of all: stopping learning. The brain is the most important organ when it comes to projecting youthfulness, because it governs everything from your facial expressions to your posture to the sparkle in your eyes. When we stop challenging our brains with new information and skills, we literally think ourselves older. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections, continues throughout life, but like muscles, our brains need regular exercise to stay strong. People who maintain curiosity and continue learning new things tend to have better memory, sharper focus, and remarkably, more youthful appearances. This doesn't mean you need to go back to school or master quantum physics. The key is novelty and challenge. Learning to identify birds in your backyard, trying a new recipe each week, mastering basic phrases in a foreign language. All these create beneficial changes in your brain that show in your face. One study followed older adults learning to quilt or do digital photography. After just 3 months, not only did their cognitive function improve, but friends reported they seemed more vibrant and engaged with life. My neighbor Helen took up watercolor painting at 72. 2 years later, people routinely guess her age as a decade younger than she is. It's not the painting itself, she says, but the way it makes me look at the world. Everything becomes interesting. Now that we've explored all 12 habits, let's talk about how to make these changes stick. The secret isn't willpower, it's systems. Start by choosing just 1 or 2 habits that resonate most with you. Maybe it's adding sunscreen to your daily routine and practicing better posture. Once those feel automatic, add another. Trying to change everything at once is overwhelming and unsustainable. Instead, focus on small wins that build momentum. For example, if you want to improve your hydration, start by drinking 1 glass of water first thing each morning. After a week, add another glass before lunch. Small steps create big changes over time. Another powerful strategy is what I call habit stacking, attaching a new habit to an existing one. Always brush your teeth at night. That's the perfect time to apply hand cream afterward. Watch the evening news. Do some gentle facial exercises during the broadcast. These pairings help new behaviors stick without requiring extra time or effort. One client pairs her daily walk with listening to language learning podcasts, addressing movement, brain exercise, and social connection. She practices with a conversation group weekly, all at once. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought: aging isn't something we need to fear or fight against. It's a natural, beautiful process that brings its own wisdom and rewards. But looking older than you feel? That's often just habit, and habits can be changed at any age. The techniques we've discussed aren't about turning back the clock, but about presenting your most vibrant, confident self to the world at every stage of life. Each time you choose sunscreen over skipping it, water over soda, connection over isolation, you're casting a vote for the youthful, energetic person you know yourself to be. These choices accumulate like compound interest, small deposits that grow into significant returns over time. My hope is that you'll revisit these lessons periodically, not as strict rules but as loving reminders to care for yourself in ways that honor both your wisdom and your vitality. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these habits resonated most? What small change will you implement first? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience might inspire someone else on their journey. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel for more content to help you live your most vibrant life at every age. Remember, youth isn't a number. It's a way of moving through the world with curiosity, care, and confidence. Here's to looking in the mirror and seeing the vibrant, ageless you looking back.